Let's go back to that national championship moment. Set it up for us. That team was extremely talented, but I'm sure people knew UNC had never won a national championship on the women's level before. Take us through that season a little bit up to that pinnacle where you hit that shot to win the championship.
Well, it started just from the words of affirmation that we spoke every day in practice. National champions. And I mean, if you hear that every single day in practice, it has to sink in. It has to sink in, and you have to believe. We went from being the worst to first by simply speaking it into existence and putting the work in. Fast forward to Richmond, for us, it's all about respect. At that moment, it's about respect because we're thinking about our seeding. The game is nip and tuck, it's back and forth, and I'm like, oh my gosh, are we gonna ever pull away? And big moment, Pam Thomas, with under a minute in the game, maybe even 15 seconds, hits a baseline jumper against the zone. Tanya Sampson gets a rebound, we come down the court, we launch up a shot, he hits nothing. Marion Jones and I are scrambling on the floor for the loose ball, and I remember the whistle being blown, and my first instinct was to look up at the shot clock. And I remember seeing 0.7 seconds, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my heart sank in that moment because I thought it was over. What can you do in 0.7 seconds? First play we call, we end up having to call a timeout. It was a lob play for Sylvia Crawley. They had that scouted out pretty well, so that was covered. The next play was we're going for the win and not the tie. And that's the moment where the fear set in, and I'm wondering, do I have what it takes for this big moment? And it's like you don't have time to second guess yourself. She believes in you. You got to go out there and get it done. I was nervous. I literally forgot the play. Fortunately, Sylvia Crawley, in that moment said, we're running 30s or 40s, whatever the play was, and we're setting a diagonal screen for you. Everybody assumed that we were going for the 2-point play. They assumed it was going to Tanya Sampson because she was the go-to player on our team. I find myself all by myself behind the 3-point line, and all I can remember is just thinking, dear God, please let this shot go in. I just remember being stormed by the entire bench, the cheerleaders. Next thing I know, I'm on the ground. Tanya Sampson is down, pressing me in the ground. I'm like, oh gosh. And I'm trying to protect myself and keep myself from being smothered. Tears of joy, tears of relief that the shot went in, and just a sense of gratification knowing that, wow, it took 3 years to go from the worst to the first.